Hello, Aries. Welcome to Catalyst Energies and welcome to your new moon astrology forecast. This is for Aries rising, Aries moon, and Aries sun. So welcome back, everyone. Welcome if you're new to this channel, new to this series, these astrology forecast by sign. Just remember that when you subscribe, you like, you comment, you share, you actually do assist in the growth of this channel. And special shout out to my patrons on Subscribestar, because they also are a big part of how this, the wheels on this bus can keep turning, and that more content can stay consistent and of the highest quality. So Aries, we're going to be looking at the new moon in Aquarius on the 1st of February, beginning of the Chinese New Year, of the water tiger, and also too that we have the new moon, and we're going to look at the full moon, which is on the 16th of February. So if you've been following my channel at all for any amount of time, you know that this time in February, I've been talking about it since last year, definitely since the eclipse readings started happening, which was back in November, and the Pleiadian revival, which I will link in the description box below. That is looking at the nodes of the moon in conjunction with the Pleiades through these next couple of months. The full moon is, when we see the chart, you'll see what I mean. It's full of galactic degrees. There's a grand square. It's all Orion and Pleiadian starseed markings, and at the full moon, Mars and your ruler, Mars, and Venus will be in exact conjunction in Capricorn. So we're all about to go through something together that we can't, a conflict and a confrontation at a galactic karmic level that we are not going to be able to get out of. We all have to face it together in some way. So for the Aries person, these experiences are going to be in the houses that they are traditionally, those signs are traditionally in. So in some ways, the Aries person, as per usual, is out front, is the pioneer, and is leading the charge. And in this way, that's exactly what will be happening, because these experiences will be in those areas that most correspond to those signs. So Aries, first we're going to look at the new moon, which is going to be in Aquarius in the 11th house of the social environment as a whole. Now, this new moon is like I said, on the 1st. You have Saturn right here, so there has been a very authoritarian or authoritative. It's either secure and provisionary, or it's tyrannical and limiting and binding. It depends on what type of social environment you do find yourself in, but either way, there is some sort of authority that is stabilizing the social environment that you're part of. The new moon is this opportunity to develop internally and individually the capacity to measure changes in pressure in the social environment, so that you can reasonably make forecasts and prepare, right? Aquarius ultimately is not so much to control nature or to advance technology to overcome nature, but to be in harmony with natural law by using the power inherent in the civilization, in the human collective, and all of our stored capital in order to do that energetically. And that means to be in harmony with what's going on and rather trying to control it. And so when we get to the full moon, when that aspect is brought to its crescendo at the last degrees of Aquarius, and the full moon is in Leo in the 5th house, Aries, like the potential of who you are is going to be highlighted very strongly and very sensitively in your 5th house. And you will see like there's unlimited potential for what you can voice, who you are, and how you can voice that and express that creatively. And the full moon will be, is the collective, is the social environment. Have you been able to store the energy of the collective in order to, enough that you can release the full potential of who you are? This is going to be, the full moon in essence. And like I said, galactic degrees, Atlantean story, there's a lot here that is going to come to a head with this grand square. So we know that the new moon is setting the tone for the Aries person to be able to be very in tune with the social environment as a whole, right? The town and the energy that makes up the social environment. So all of your larger networks and associations, your larger friend groups, the town you live in, your social media networks, right? And the energy that is within it. There's also all of this 10th house stuff that has been going on for a long time, of course, with Pluto here. Mercury is in retrograde, is now back in this area. So there's deep analysis now that, again, meeting Pluto in the realm of the actual socio-political institutions that you're part of, or your career, right? Your mission, and what you're contributing to societally is the 10th house. And there's a lot of change. There's a lot of demolition that's been happening. There is deep analysis about what this is for you. And now Venus and Mars, they're going to come together at the full moon in this area as well. And some really, the attraction that the masculine and the feminine will have in Venus and Mars at this moment will be what releases them from outdated socio-political systems, outdated ecosystems, outdated, these outdated aspects of the matrix that are falling away. This is like Neo and Trinity in Matrix Resurrections finally coming together, and they release their chains together through that, the drawing together. So for the Aries person, though, this is going to be the most expressed in your actual political environment, or your social environment or institution, or your career. Like if you're part of a larger structure, this is going to be a big part of it, this release here. And you can see all this connection to Uranus, and Uranus being in your second house, that has been much more in bringing this instability and these radical shifts in your actual resources. And this can be anything from your bank account, your job, whatever generates your income, your house, your land, your DNA in your body. Those are yours. Anything that is yours, material possessions, energetic resources, traditions that you inherit, anything that is in the world around you that is yours. It has been it has been disrupted. It has been constantly shifting, and there hasn't been a lot of stability, but there also has been opportunities for innovation and freedom and thinking outside of the box about solutions. And now that the North Node is in Taurus as well, it's like this is the direction we're all moving in order for our soul to evolve, which again, natural fulfillment, stability, fertility, patience, strong heart, survival skills, and so this is the Aries person is really, yes, there may be destruction, and at a really, the 10th house is where your power is released, right? And it is the larger institutions that are providing a sense of belonging and participation. And so the fact that there's a lot of destruction around these elements for the Aries person, and a release from something is also allowing for some stability in some ways, and the lack of stability or the innovation or outside of the box thinking about resources and fertility and survival is also providing a structural foundation for this sensitivity and responsibility to and understanding of how it all works together, like how an economy works, right? And there may be a massive, for Aries people, these dynamics may be most expressed in the economy, but you are so, you have been working with the disruption and the instability in your actual currency and resources, whatever they are. And now the focus really at a soul level is going to be cultivating that you are perfectly balanced and supported, it looks like, in this change and this release from bondage in the economy as a whole, or in the socio-political system as a whole. Okay. It's really, now where the issue is going to come in here is that the new moon too is essentially in a square to Uranus. And so even finding some measure of voice or expression or identification with, and even feeling into the social environment as a whole, and being able to measure it, being able to grow and develop yourself as a fine-tuned instrument to measure these changes in the environment. It's still creating a conflict or a challenge or friction with the literal changes that are happening in your actual material reality and in your currency and your resources, right? Because you're learning how to create your own, right? And if you're just have a lot of focus and a lot of really strong authority in what's happening in the social environment as a whole, this can be kind of distracting and irritating, so irritating. So it's going to be how do you exist in two places at once? This is going to be the lesson. And Aries, this is also something that you're able to really model for the rest of us, because you can exist in two places at once, measuring and being kind of, have a sense of security in the world around you, the social environment, but also too that you are in tune with the fluctuations in your material reality in a way that you can exist in two places at once. And this is going to require just being still and stable and secure and feeling the changes and the shifts in pressure. And that, again, it's the square here with Uranus. It's building already, and so many people are feeling it. And so when the new moon comes, it's just going to be totally at this peak. But Saturn is going to come, is going to be kind of like this auditing force in some ways. And so this is interesting times for all of us, but for Aries people, it's going to be like very strongly felt in your material world versus like what is society doing and what do I feel in that. So the other things about Uranus is that we've talked about how the Capricorn energy of Venus in particular, Mars, when Mars comes into that same position, trining Uranus, Mars being your ruler, these changes and these and the goals and ambitions and a sense of fearlessness here and patience in the economy, in the government, in the socio-political sphere is also, again, going to, provide that foundation for innovation in terms of and giving an impetus to even transform or change when it comes to your resources. But also, too, we have Lilith in the 4th house in Cancer. It's going to be in opposition to Venus at the new moon, sextile to Uranus. So something very deep in the inner life, in the personal life, in the family of origin, or your marriage, or your spiritual community, just whatever family that you're part of, whatever inner system, the core of who you are. So this is big changes to the forest, the 10th house, right? The ecosystem as a whole. This is your roots, right? And something in the root system needs to be expelled, needs to be heard, needs to be expressed, and very much needs to be felt with Black Moon Lilith here. It's going to be really deep and very primal, and it's going to be the root system connecting to the planetary grid, really. And I think will be very intense and need to be felt. And realize that there's a lot of value in your own root system, Aries, your own emotional root system, in the face of all of this massive change in the economy or the ecosystem as a whole. And Venus is very patient, and she's listening, and she's kind of like grounding this opposition, even though it's in an opposition. It's kind of like Lilith is just going to, it'll be such an intense overflow of expression and emotion here, and very protective of something, very protective of the family, of the inner life, of the mechanism that surrounds all of us. But Venus is looking to be sensitive to to understanding the economy, how it functions, right? Understanding power, how it's released, getting, and being willing to listen, to take down notes in the lecture, right? To feel into it now. She's taken a very deep inventory of what this all means. And so it's okay. Let it out, and know that if you can have a sense of humor about it, it's going to be an investment into, again, what needs to be like maybe an aha moment about your physical resources, right? Because these two, your emotional resources and where you're drawing your power from, are very related and harmonious with your material resources. So if you can have some sense of humor about it and have some self-esteem enough to have some sense of humor about whatever's coming up here, it will, I think, be a great investment and will transmute what could be agitation and restlessness into innovation and awakening. So again, Venus is very patient up here and is grounding the Aries person into a sense of wisdom and responsibility and kind of a grandmother energy here, so that you are not like freaking the fuck out, basically, as this very, the most secure aspect of our lives, which is the 10th house, is falling away, and we already set intentions for it to burn away and be purified with the last lunar cycle. So what else is part of this conversation for Aries as we move forward into towards the full moon? Well, I would say that Chiron in the first house is a big part of this conversation, because in this process from the new to full moon, we're going to see that Mars in the 10th house. Now, Mars is happy in Capricorn. Mars is your ruler and is exalted in Capricorn. So it has a goal to work towards and put your energy towards. And so there's fearlessness. There's a sense of, again, power and authority here with Mars here, something to work towards, some manner of like extra confidence and leadership when Mars is in here. And yes, it'll be in a square to Chiron, but if you can trust, if you can put your, you don't want to throw it all away. There has to be some level of trust of institutions and them providing what we mean for them to provide in terms of an economy, for instance, or a government, for instance, or a corporation or an extended family of some sort. Mars is wanting to act on these ambitions and goals and build something and work with the group, strangely enough. And this is great for you, Aries. And it will trigger these identity issues that you've been having about who you are and who you can be and the potential for everything that you can be. But allow the discomfort and it'll bring the triggers up. And I think that this is a good thing and will allow for you to really let go of these old identities and wounds of the self, so that you can actually feel confident and trusting in order to put some energy into moving forward. And this is going to really help when Venus or Mars does meet Venus, because there won't be any trepidation or mistrust or any of this old identity being overlapped. It's you let go of that, and something new can start to grow in your life around like career or mission, or just the like I said, the larger institutions that you're contributing to. Let's look at the full moon. And so you can go forward here, because wait till you see what it looks like. Go a day forward, 12 hours. Okay, here we go, guys. So Aries, you can see that we have this grand square. So here is the moon in Leo. So number 1, 27 degrees. We have galactic degree, Atlantean galactic degree. We have in conjunction with, Regulus, fixed star Regulus, which is Archangel Raphael. We have both Pleiadian and Orion starseed. One is intention and one is harmonious. And you have the moon or the sun in Aquarius. And this is the same thing, both Pleiadian and both Pleiadian and Orion starseed markings. It's galactic markings. And then you have the Pleiadian nodes, right? The north node and the south node. So there's creating this galactic starseed oriented grand square for our entire society that and globe, right, that nobody's getting out of. This grand square is a conflict that we must face. And if we don't, we will still experience the frustration and the limitation in a number of ways. But if we face it head on and realize the growth that can come out of the situation and the release of so much of this karma, it's really, really substantial. So again, all the potential for who you can be in your most authentic expression will be so strongly felt, Aries, with this full moon in Leo. And it'll be the karmic aspects around resources that are going to provide, an added level of challenge in terms of the soul's journey. Because Aries, I mean, like, it really is the power, it really is the power of the collective that you fully shine forward for, right? And so I just think that you're going to get, it can be very overwhelming with this degree, but it also is going to show all of the potential for who we each can be in our fullness. And for Aries, it's going to be in the area of life where that's most likely to be expressed, which is the 5th house. And so creative expression, taking a risk, going on an adventure, thrill seeking, glamour, right? Excitement, passion, joy, optimism. These are all 5th house things, and they're very individual. This is your heart. This is the blood pumping, and this is the Kundalini activating and getting to that critical point of this could either overwhelm your psyche or you can have your samadhi. And it has a lot to do with your ability to store the energy of the social environment as a whole in order to release this. It's very amazing for Aries. And then you have, again, the resources along the axis of your the nodal axis of the moon. So this karmic journey at a soul level is, with the Pleiadian aspect, is to, remember where we are headed and what the pathway of awakening is towards Uranus. And it's in its natural fulfillment, right? We have to be there's a reason why late Leo is the Atlantean degree in a galactic reading, because it is that, it's, if you release this energy, it's overwhelming, but also very exciting. And so it has to be, if you're going to release the energy, solar energy, the full energy of the sun, of a power, right? This is about the power that can be released from the natural world if there's so much potential there, right? And it's really what it's going to be used for in Aquarius that makes the difference. The quality of the social environment or the quality of the ecosystem as a whole is what is going to hold that energy. And if it's corrupted, if it is not of the highest, then that is going to create karma. And we have to face this all together. And so, and part of that is knowing that right now, the Pleiadian signature, for whatever reason, they are so close to us in terms of our own ancestry, but also too natural fulfillment, being in communion with the natural world, natural resources. This is a big part of our journey. And so it's just going to come to a head for all of us, but these are the areas for Aries that it's going to be most likely expressed. Now, another connection to Uranus is Jupiter in your 12th house and Neptune in your 12th house. So again, Aries, there is a lot of karmic clearing, and there's an advocate, a spiritual advocate, and even a benefactor now coming into the 12th house for you that is going to, there is going to be, it'll feel like an initiation, a spiritual initiation, but it's going to be kind of like this guru figure or something that represents this, that is going, this is good fortune coming from out of nowhere into your resource bank, right? A spiritual investment or a spiritual, Jupiter is often associated with like good luck and fortune. And in Pisces, it's very happy here. This is co-ruler territory. It can expand in an infinite space. And it is representing a moment of initiation into and a test of character, but it's on your side, right? These are Jupiter is your representative. And so there's the sextile here, I feel like is going to be really instrumental in reminding the Aries person, even if it seems like a huge challenge, it's really actually a transmutational moment where you are taking that spiritual energy and utilizing it to, like quantum leap, or to literally, have some sort of impact on your resources. This is very exciting for Aries. It's one of the readings that I've done that hasn't been like, okay, it's going to be crazy, so just like bear down and be ready. Aries, it's going to be like that too, but it's like I said, Aries are the template right now for how this is going to play out in their own lives. And so it's very exciting. I think the biggest issue is Chiron getting in the way of who you are, right? Because Aries just has to be who they are, and they are out front leading the way. So Aries, I'm going to leave it there for now. I think that's plenty to work with. And I'm going to bring up a flyer real quick just to kind of show you about this, if you're interested in starseed readings. If you're not on my email list, which you can be if you go to the website, catalystenergies.net, as you see right in front of you, or also in the description box below. You also I post this on Telegram too, and that's the social media that I'm most active on. But these readings are at a discount, and I don't offer the 30-minute readings because there's so much to read for starseeds. But if you want to just start the process and make a smaller investment into this, just to know, this is a great place to start. So these are recorded readings that I send you based on information that you give me, your birth details, and then Reiki 30-minute add-ons to any service for only $22. When I channel Reiki, either in person or remotely, I get a lot of intuitive information. So you're not only getting the Reiki treatment, you're also allowing for me to pick up on intuitive information that maybe I otherwise wouldn't get. So that's an option as well. So Aries, I'm actually really excited for you during this time. So just you also have the potential to really, how do I say this? I don't want to say go over the edge, but that full moon in Leo is going to be really powerful for all of us. And, you can really find yourself feeling very overwhelmed or very confident in your ability to express yourself. That may just like blast all of these old stories out of the water for good, which is really exciting. So Aries, I'm going to leave it there for now. Have a great new moon. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. And you can find everything you need in the description box below. And you certainly can support this work financially through Subscribestar. And there's some information about that at the end of this video. So take care of Aries. I'll see you on the next report, which will be at that crazy full moon in Leo. Until then, take care of yourself. Bye.